President of Guyana, Dr. Cheddi B. Jagan. Doctor, once again, welcome to Indo-Caribbean Visions.
Well, I'm very happy to have this opportunity to talk to you again, this time, of course, in Guyana, not in Toronto, Canada.
You've had your first month in office. Can you tell us something about your experience for that month?
Well, so far we've been very busy trying to get settled in. Many of problems have arisen because some of the people who were there before were political appointments, and we had to see how to handle this delicate question. Apart from that, there was removal of state property, motor cars and other equipment from the various offices of the government, and this made it quite difficult and caused a lot of diversion in the sense that we had to waste a lot of time and energy on that question.
I've heard from the First Lady that your days start very early in the morning and many times you're back home at 11 o'clock at night.
Well, that's part of my work schedule, and fortunately it's not something new. I've always been accustomed to that kind of work.
How long do you think that type of pace is apt to continue?
Well, I think after 2 or 3 months it's likely to get a little easier, because by that time things will get more settled, and ministers and others will be able to get accustomed to what is the environment in which they have to work and get adjusted to that environment. And I have no problem with that. I think this will be done very shortly.
I have an idea of the type of schedule you have. We've been trying to get an appointment off for about a week in various ways, and we're so grateful that you had a chance to give us this time. One of the things that has marked your coming into office, and that is very important to the population here as well as of concern to the people overseas, is that to date you've kept some of your campaign promises. The price of rice has been readjusted. I heard this morning that old age pensions are going to be adjusted, and of course the cost of food, flour has been reduced by about $200 per bag. Is this a trend that you hope to continue until you bring all the prices and the cost of living down?
Yes, because our government principally will be a government which will be looking after the working people's interest, and to achieve not just economic growth but human development, meaning we must tackle the basic needs of the people, and the cost of living is very high in this country, and we want to ensure that the life of the people is improved. However, this got to be done in a measured way, because unfortunately the treasury is empty, and we are faced with a huge debt burden, and over 90% of the revenues of the country is earmarked for debt payments. So we have inherited a lot of problems, but we are committed to having a government which will be geared towards human development, that is meeting the basic needs of the people and ensuring that their democratic rights and freedoms are exercised to the fullest. We also want to embark on what we call lean and clean government. By lean, to stop any kind of extravagance. We are looking at things like salaries of certain people, permanent secretaries and others, political advisors of the previous administration, who are earning fantastic salaries and allowances and all kind of privileges, and we are cutting those out to the bare bone, what is essentially necessary for having a lean government, a government which does not waste the people's money. We are looking, for instance, at the Foreign Service. The Foreign Ministry of Foreign Affairs is costing the taxpayers 1.2 billion Guyana dollars, which is more than is spent for health, education, fire service, and sea defenses. And a country like this can't afford that. In other words, as I said in a Trinidad interview recently, when the CARICOM heads of governments were meeting, we cannot have Cadillac style or what they call Rolls-Royce style of living with donkey cart economies.
Mr. President, there's also the question of this British firm that was retained by the previous government, and they're paid a substantial amount of money every month. Have you been able to resolve that?
Yes, we are going to bring that to an end because for the last 10 years, this company was paid $50,000 a month, U.S., and clearly that could have done a lot of good to the poor people of this country, for instance, in a housing program or an education program. We are going to get a lot of people who are going to give us voluntary service. Academic people in universities from various places have volunteered their service on a professional basis, consultancy basis, free of charge. In addition to that, we hope to capitalize on people who have retired. For instance, in Canada, there's an organization called CESO, and similarly, there are organizations of that type in all countries, developed countries. And we hope to mobilize people like those to provide us the necessary expertise at various levels to help to put the administration in an efficient basis so that we can produce more effectively so that benefits can accrue to the people of Guyana.